Hey everybody, we're back in Proverbs 15 looking at verse 23, which says, "To make an apt answer is a joy to a man, and a word in season, how good it is." To give an apt answer is a joy to a man, and a word in season, how good it is. This verse is all about having the right thing to say at the right time. I always think of Jesus when I think of things like this. You read through the book of Mark, for example. It's a short one. Why don't you do that? Read through the book of Mark just in one sitting. And you'll see how Jesus always had the right thing to say at just the right moment. You think of the woman who was caught in adultery, and they bring her before him, and what do you say? Moses says she ought to be stoned, and Jesus said, "Let he who is without sin cast the first stone." Or when they brought him a coin and they said, "Should we give taxes to Caesar?" And he says, "Render to Caesar what is Caesar's and render to God what is God's." Or the woman at the well when he says, "If you knew who was talking to you and asking for water, you'd ask him and he'd give you living water." Jesus just had the thing to say that right at the moment was exactly what that person needed. Jesus changed people's whole lives by the words he said. Peter, at the end of his ministry, Jesus said, "Peter, do you love me?" And that's all he said, and it was just what needed to be said. It's a joy to be able to give the right answer in the right moment. And it's something that we all ought to aim for. We all ought to try to be the person that the words that you say have an effect on people. I'm not talking about putting on some pretentious things. Some people try to say really clever things, and they really aren't that clever when you break them down, you know? But that you don't just overflow with words, right? You don't just word barf all over somebody when you have something to say. But as James said, we're slow to speak and quick to listen, that we take the time to weigh our words carefully. And this is hard for me as a pastor because I do a lot of talking. I do a lot of counseling. I do a lot of preaching. I make these videos here, and I try to stay in prayer and say, "Lord, I want my words to be like those of Jesus, that they're just the right thing to say." Because when you give that, there's no better feeling. When somebody comes to you with a problem or they need help or they're having trouble understanding something and you try to explain it or give them advice and counsel in the moment, sometimes you're thinking to yourself, "This is the dumbest thing anybody's ever said. This isn't going to mean anything." And then that person will just start breaking down crying. They're like, "Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what I needed to hear." Or they'll come back to you later and say, "You know, that thing you said to me, I know I didn't respond to it at the moment, but I can't stop thinking about it. That's exactly what needed to be said." That's what comes from spending time with the Lord, learning how he talks and what he has to say, and being in the Spirit. And there's nothing better than receiving the right word from somebody. Man, I've been wrecked by something somebody has said almost in passing. Or as a pastor, when people give you little letters of encouragement or send you text messages, "Hey, I love the message this morning," that's always exactly what I need. And so as wonderful as that is for me, that's what I want to be able to give to other people. So learn from this, Christian. Learn from this. Take the time to let your words matter when they come out. You know, so many times we ruin this by trying to be funny, by trying to seem smart, by trying to be defensive against people. Sometimes even if you don't feel like you get the better of a situation or a conversation, you might find, nope, what you said was exactly what needed to be said. So choose your words carefully, be like Jesus, and say exactly what needs to be said in the right moment. And if you can't say that, maybe it's best just to keep your mouth closed. God bless you guys.